No matter how good a gardener you are, at some point you will have challenges in the garden. So what do you do? Today we're going to take a look at that, some of the things that can happen and how to handle them. We were off for 2 weeks on vacation, a little over 2 weeks, and you'll see what happened to our garden and how we handled it. If you have never been here before, my name is Marlene. Welcome to my home and garden channel. So we are looking at 10 things to do when pest and disease attack your garden. The first thing is don't give up. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or it's new for you, keep going. The second thing to do is to assess the damage, especially if you've been away, like traveling like we were, and then you came back. As you can see right here, we're seeing a lot of bites from that most likely would be cabbage worms. These ones aren't too bad. They're a little bit younger and they're not under attack right now. It could be because of the chrysanthemum, because this is a good companion plant. So that could have been a factor there. Over here, we have tomatoes, and these are the first of the season. They're mature right now, so I'm going to be picking them maybe tomorrow, most likely. But we'll get along in the process. These are my coneflowers right here, and they're looking so great. This is their second year, and they're looking quite fabulous. Now, my sons told me that there were afternoon storms, so these are toppled over a little bit, so I'm going to have to get those supported. Over here, we have some cosmos. They're smaller this year because, as you can see, the coneflowers are basically taken over. Then right here now we have some more tomatoes, and this one looks ripe and juicy, so I'm going to go in and get that harvested. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. I'm quite pleased to see that. And down here we have a bell pepper. There are others on there too, but that's the largest one that's coming up. We have some marigolds right here, and we have some chrysanthemums, yellow ones, and these are some Roma tomatoes over here, looking really good. There's one behind back there as well. And back here we have our beets, and those are looking really good too. On closer inspection, I'm seeing that there are little swollen roots forming, so that means we're getting some beets down there. Those were ravaged by the cabbage worms. And these is our lavender. They faded out a little bit, so I'm going to, deadhead those. And over here, these are some green beans. And these are about 3.5 weeks because we planted them shortly before we had left for our trip. Over here, we have some thyme. And that time is maybe about 4 or 5 years. We have a smaller tomato over there. We have some more beans right here. And that's our DIY trellis that we made for it. And over here we have the salvia. It's gotten so large, I'm going to have to divide it in the fall. And then over here we have another tomato. So these are, we're growing from seeds. So over here now, number 3 would be the next thing that you would need to do. So if your plants needed to be watered, if you were away, or just it's been a busy time for you and they were struggling a little bit, be sure that they're properly watered. I would say check like about the first inch of soil. If it's dry, then you need to water them, preferably in the morning, especially if you're going to wet the leaves so they can it evaporates off. If you do that at night on these hot summer days, it encourages fungal diseases, so we don't want that happening. So over here, I'm supporting the coneflower with the stake, and these are quite inexpensive. I got this at the Home Depot, and it's doing a pretty good job. So now we can get to see pretty much what is going on in this flower bed right here, since that's been taken back over. And of course, you can see I have my mulch down there, very important. So next thing to do, number 4, would be to harvest what you can. So if they're under attack, you just want to go in and see what is mature and just go in and harvest them. And this, I think, was either Big Boy or Better Boy. The label should be down there somewhere. And over here we have our bell pepper. I'm just going in and harvesting it. And I'm so excited to see the first one of the season. As they say, do not despise the small beginnings. So over here now we have the Roma tomatoes. And once they're blushing like that, I'm going to go in and harvest them. Even the one behind them, I'm going to go ahead and get that one too, because once they look like they're pale green to, like a light orange color, or even yellow, I get them because I don't want them to split if it rains or for any pests to get them. So over here now I'm getting my thyme. And typically what I do is I get thyme that's going to be enough to last for just about 2 days or so. Give it a chance to come back up a little bit, and then I go back in again. So I'm constantly having thyme because I just love to use it, on fish, and in soups and stews and things like that, and rice and beans too, rice and peas. So here's my little harvest, guys, and that's what I'll say is the next thing: to celebrate your harvest. No matter how small it is, you grew it, so celebrate. Furthermore, we have had so much going on in our backyard and our house that I was just glad to get something, to be honest. The next thing to do is to remove damaged leaves and weeds. So we have trees behind our yard, and of course you can see there's one that tried to grow there, and we also have some, older damaged leaves right here. So it's good to just go in and take them out, because when you have damaged or older leaves like that, they're basically energy suckers from the plants. So it's best to take them off so the energy can go into, development. Next thing is to treat for pests and disease, and it's right over here is a cabbage worm. You can see what he did to this one, and so I took him off. So take the pest off if you're able to. And I think he's either very angry or nervous, but either way, he did something. And so off into the trash bag he goes. So I'll go ahead and clean up the outer leaves of this, since the center part still looks good. So over here now, I did try some homemade remedies. I have a large rosemary bush if you've been watching my channel for a while. So I did boil some of that, and I have some garlic water right here, and then I blended them and put them in the spray bottle. I should say mix them together, the liquid, and put it in there. We have some banana tea water over there as well, but that's more food for my bell peppers and my tomatoes. And then I went in and sprayed them, and I did not fix the nozzle correctly, so it's not coming out the way I want, but it did cover them completely, which is basically what we want. And it's good to, if you're spraying things on your plants, it's good to do it in the cool of the day so they're not stressed out from whatever it is that you're putting on there. And so that's what I did. Unfortunately, guys, it did not work. So I tried the next thing that I saw online, which was to sprinkle cornmeal on them, because they say that the cornmeal, it takes out the caterpillar worms. So it should be working for us. But it did not, sadly. And I'm just being very transparent with you guys, because I try to give you truth, because I want to encourage you if something happens and you kind of have an idea why. So if that's not working out for you, insecticidal soap is a good option. This one, I've used it quite a few times. I just did not get enough to take care of it this time around. But I will link this in the description box if you wanted to try it. I know people get concerned sometimes when they're using these about certain types of pollinators being affected, but this one is kind of selective. It does cover a wide range, yes, of insects, but at the same time, the main ones that you want protected, those ones are going to be okay. So that brings me on to the next point, which is to strategize. So what I have learned from this is use netting early in the process so that the plants can be protected from insects that will come in, because the cabbage moth is what comes in and does that. And I'll also plant them in the cooler months as well too. Next thing to do is to feed and mulch if you have not done either of those. And then what I do is I get 2 tablespoons of the fish fertilizer to 2 gallons of water, and then I pour it on the plants. And guys, it's not the nicest smelling thing in the world, but it provides a lot of nitrogen. It's high nitrogen. So if you have like leafy greens that need more nitrogen than phosphorus and potassium, then this is a good one to use. Of course, you'll still get some of that, but it's more nitrogen more than anything else. So like say your tomatoes are blooming, they don't really need a lot of this. They need something more to boost flower production and therefore fruit production after that as well. So I went ahead and fed them. And then once it got to a certain point, I realized that it's just time to go ahead and harvest what I had. So I was quite okay with them, going in and taking them out, as many of them as I could over the garden. And that's what they were looking like. But this is my pride and joy for right now, guys. And this is my beans. This was 3 more weeks in, because typically my beans take about from seed to harvest, usually is about 6 weeks. And I did a previous video on that as well too. And guys, planting beans is so rewarding, unless you don't like beans. And these are green beans. If you don't like beans, I can understand that. But if you do like beans, I highly recommend planting some of those in your garden, especially if you're a beginner. It's very encouraging because quick turnaround time, you see the fruits of your labor, and they taste so much better than the ones in the store. And I would say, if you've never tried it before, grow some for yourself, do a taste test with some of those that are from the store, and you see that yours tastes a whole lot more flavorful. So I just went in and I gathered them. And the good thing is that once I harvest these after another week, I'm going to be able to harvest again. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. So over here now I'm getting some of the thyme. So it's a second harvest, since the one I did before. So this is how they're looking right there, guys. And the thyme, it just smells so, so good. I just love having that herb in my garden. So this is my harvest right here. And again, celebrate, celebrate. The next thing too is to do some more planting, so like for those containers that had the kale in there, I'm gonna go ahead and put some beans since they do so well in this type of weather. And I just wanted to take a moment to invite you to subscribe to my channel if you have never done so before. I do lots of gardening topics, tips and tours. We have a wonderful community here where we exchange ideas. And be sure to leave me your sweet comments, anything you figured I may have missed, you can always put it in there. And of course, tap the bell twice. So over here now, this is how they're looking. Of course, I took out the best leaves that were there, so we can go ahead and make a little meal out of that, a little side dish. Over here we have some beans. That's maybe about 1.5 pounds that I got, and you can see the time. I'm just wash them off and put everything to dry. And we continue to harvest more and more tomatoes. Now moving on to the next thing, which is talking about when diseases attack. So this is my happy face right here when I had gotten my first harvest after 6 weeks, and I was quite excited. And then this is what happened. This is not this summer, this is the previous summer. And we travel a lot, so sometimes, we're not there all the time. The kids may be there or maybe not, it just depends. But they're quite diseased right here. Because I did look to say, is this pest, is this the heat? Yes, there is some heat on there, but it's mainly disease because of how the leaves were shaped, very crooked, curving and all of the things that were going on. And I realized that there was a taller plant behind the fence that was causing that. It had spread over to them. So my husband and I, we had to make a decision on what we were going to do. But first thing, of course, is to go in and harvest whatever you can. As long as they look healthy enough, we'll go in and take them out. And then the next thing that we decided to do was just to take them out. So I'd say number 10, remove diseased plants. And you can either rest the soil at that point or you can plant something else there. And I just wanted to show you this, guys. Look, if you look at the roots, you'll see the nodules right there. That is where the nitrogen fixation takes place. So that's when we tell you that, beans have nitrogen fixing taking place in their roots. That's what happens, and they enrich the soil with nitrogen. So that's another good reason to have them in your garden. And of course, once you take these up, you want to make sure that they are going into not your compost pile because it's going to spread diseases, but you want to put those in the trash. Just dispose of them so they're not going to affect your plant. If you have fallen leaves, just clear all of them off so that disease is not lingering further around there. Aside from that, this plant is this bed is in pretty good shape. Lots of nitrogen down there. And this is the beauty of it, guys. You have the bad beans, diseased off to the side, but look at the tomatoes. Very, very promising. There were so many blossoms coming out, so much fruit coming out. And there's a salvia. This is how it was looking before it got so large, This is what it looked like the year before. Over here, more of the tomatoes, and these are grape tomatoes that my sister, she loves to grow these. So, when she has extra, she just says, you can have them. And I said, okay, I'll take them. So they were looking pretty good. And, as time went by, we continued to harvest more and more tomatoes from the garden that year. Now we move on to the bonus point, which is to enjoy the journey. Just take a look around you and see everything that's going on. You may be having like a little mishap with certain things, but look at this. These are planted from seeds, guys, as were these marigolds right here, and they are looking so fabulous. And these are companion plants. Some alyssum down at the bottom there. Those are a little bit smaller, but either way, I enjoyed everything together. Just look at how beautiful these are. They grew so tall, the first year when I planted them, because the competition from the coneflower wasn't there. The coneflower was so small because that was its first year as a perennial. And look at them now, guys. And just enjoy, the pollinators that are in your garden. They're just wonderful to see, and it was just so encouraging to me. And this is how the marigolds had looked at the end of last season, and I had done a video showing you how to harvest the seeds. You can see how fabulous they were looking right there. So this was my little harvest, a good start off, I would say, based on what I was able to do, based on all the things that we had going on. So I'm quite pleased with it. I'm very satisfied, and I do have a grateful heart for all of this. I want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming back time and time again, and be sure to share this out with those that have similar interests. Take care.